Richard Nii Armah Quaye na waware in the past. A lot of people don't actually know his wife. People are asking, people are digging, people are trying to know the story behind Richard Nii Armah Quaye and the reason why he is divorced, as Onwan Kasabe announced here during an exclusive interview with legendary Bolare, say oye single. Adofinya Abotre na follow story way. Na Bongo ideas akwakunya details be concerning the wife of Richard Nii Armah Quaye known as Joanna Quaye out there to out. Adofo, this particular post our making X, formerly Twitter, interesting because people are beginning to connect the dot. How this hardworking man made his money and a fortune or the part are celebrating a birthday, including buying a private jet and a Bugatti Chiron. So to begin with, Bongo Ideas, say, is Joanna Quaye, the estranged wife of Richard Quaye, the brain behind his success or not? Also, this post will be making young connected dot 1 + 1 as to whether Richard Nii Armah Quaye, a wife, a friend Joanna Quaye, a image on the screen, is just the brain behind Richard Nii Armah Quaye's success. And I say Debbie. Now I'll share a post now say Richard and Joanna met in 2002 and started as high school lovebirds. They went on a date for 8 years when the man had almost nothing. In 2010, the two decided to get married, but marital disagreement started plaguing the marriage until both ended up in divorce court. Now the question is, between 2002 when they first met and the time the marriage started to fall apart, what were the contributions made by Joanna to set up Richard? Bongo essay, HSA, Richard Nii Armah Quaye, the hottest man, the man in charge of Africa currently, and the girl back then, and now, ex-wife, and now Obi Omu divorcee, HSA, I friend Joanna, Omu share in the year 2002, Omu train for 8 years, according to Bongo Ideas. Now, in 2010, and Omu decided, say, Omu be worry. Now, in fact, they had a lot of misunderstanding. I any who can say a divorce the case will court. Now the question will be, sir, and he said, what was the contribution of Joanna Quaye to the success of Richard Nii Armah Quaye? Now, as you see on the screen, Otwaso, as Joanna dropped out of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSC, out of sheer love in order to use her resources to support her man. She had saved a lot of money from her business, which she had planned to use to set up her own business. Or say, contribution to begin with Joanna Quaye, she's the ex-wife of Richard Nii Armah Quaye. In the life of Mr. Richard, and he said, or drop it out of UPSA. UPSA year the Ben Legon year, and I just or drop it out. Say, or best supporting Richard, I establishing according to Bongo Ideas. Now, or say, Sika or no Joanna Enya from businesses and now all year to push herself and establish herself in educational field and business field. And I just say, save year, drop it out of school to give to Richard Nii Armah Quaye. Send a career, ebe kosro. Or say, however, due to the love she had for Richard and the fact that he had almost nothing at the time, Joanna decided to support him with that money. She opened a joint account with him using the same money which both had access to. Or say, because of Odo, Joanna Edema Richard Nii Armah Quaye, just say, it could be a joint account. So, you can withdraw, I can withdraw. Joint account, and it's a nipa mienu, and then access to the account and the money inside. Now, sikano na according to Bongo, Joanna edia, and odiko shame. Ni kuno esha say, yikakra, now no so yikakra, the running and where they establishing. Or say Richard had to fly to the United Kingdom but had no capital. Out of sheer love, Joanna decided to empty her entire savings to support him. If you check the document below, the investment mentioned, which was accruing dividends, was withdrawn to pay for the flight. Or say, Richard Nii Armah Quaye at a point in his life had the opportunity to travel to the UK. Nanso no ni sika a ɔde book flight. Oni hwee ɛwɔ ne ho kyerɛ sɛ bɔga ayɛ bere. Na ɔse ne yiri yi ɛkɔ close down ne account bi ɛde sika ne nyinaa ma Richard sɛ on fly out of the country. Na kyerɛ sɛ ɔnkɔ UK yi sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a bi a future no ɛbɛbie or the evidence ne nso ɛto hɔ as you see on the screen. Ɔto also say Richard flew to the UK and came back with nothing. Actually, he returned with a laptop, a TV, and a business idea. He pitched the business idea to Joanna because they were still in a relationship and she had some money. Joanna decided to support Richard wholeheartedly. Or see, Richard Nii Armah Quaye, the current billionaire, the biggest birthday party host in the whole of Africa. Eko PM UK no. As I say, all year 1212. All bow and face biamba or the TV, laptop, any business idea, and a buyer. Obeka and the chair and the supportive wifey. Just so chiremu. I say, the business ideas be apa. Na onfana so enti. Now I'll say out of love. Just say Joanna decided so let's support I'm a business with agent. I'll say in fact she gave him the money and supported the business idea with her monthly salary for over a year or so. That business flourished into Quick Credit, which later got rebranded as Bills. The seed capital for the business came literally from Joanna. Or say, Joanna a year ex-wife of Richard Nii Armah Quaye and Richard sika to establish himself. And no a year Quick Credit. A seed ne abedane Bills Credit enyasem keto akra. Nti o say Quick Credit transitioning to Bills Credit seed capital sika the shares company na se no came from ne wife we and ne ex-wife Joanna Quaye. Oto aso echiremu say in a recent interview, Richard failed to acknowledge the role of Joanna and attributed his entire success to his mother. Richard and Bolarie having interview. Now, Ochemu said the success the anime or ton akpeteshi at a point, to 5,000 in a day. Or say Richard failed to acknowledge say the ex-wife Joanna Quaye played an important role in the success. And so I say mame and I just say buano. Bongo etwaso lastly I say today Richard and Joanna are in court over a divorce after all the years of support. In recent interviews, he explicitly stated that he built everything all by himself. The question is, judging by the story, could Richard have come this far without Joanna's support? Or say, Sisi Oniyenka say Joanna and Richard were court over divorce. Now, based on story or the other two out, do we think say Richard would have become Richard Nii Armah Quaye that we know today without Joanna's wife? A question of Bongo ABC. And also the main motive, and it's a unim Richard Nii Armah Quaye ex-wife and the wife are having issues. I will call CCR. This is her details according to Bongo contribution. Mami way and so I hear or no Richard alive and I just say Makai. I don't feel well Vimbas TV so. And what do you have to say for a share for comment section? Am I watch a video on YouTube? When you subscribe here, bon morning. Say over subscribe. Yeah, that's it.
Vimbas TV.